The Krell Armada had never known defeat. Across 300 conquered worlds, their reputation preceded them like a shadow swallowing stars. When they set their sights on the small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow sun, they expected another easy victory. They sent 10,000 warships, each capable of glassing a continent. Only 7 returned. Commander Elsa Chen stood on the observation deck of the lunar station, watching the broken vessels limp through Earth's gravitational field. Her reflection in the reinforced glass showed exhaustion carved into every line of her face. 3 weeks. The invasion had lasted only 3 weeks. They're requesting permission to land, Nick Martinez said behind her, his voice hollow. The young communications officer had aged years in those 21 days. They all had. Denied, Elsa said quietly. Quarantine protocols. Scan them first. Nick nodded and returned to his station. Through the viewport, Earth hung serene and beautiful as if nothing had happened. But Elsa knew better. She had seen the battlefields. She had given the orders that turned the tide. The Krell had made their first mistake before they even entered Earth's atmosphere. They had studied humanity, yes, our art, our languages, our governments. They had intercepted our broadcasts, analyzed our technology, measured our weapons. They thought they understood what they were facing. They didn't understand our history. When the Krell vanguard descended on major cities, humanity responded with conventional forces. Missiles, railguns, electromagnetic pulses, all the weapons of modern warfare. The aliens' shields absorbed the attacks easily, just as they had on 300 other worlds. The Krell commanders broadcast their terms of surrender in every human language. That was their second mistake. Elsa remembered sitting in the emergency command center beneath the Rockies when the president made the decision. Not surrender, escalation. They think we'll roll over because they're more advanced, the president had said, her knuckles white on the table's edge. They don't know that we've been killing each other with sticks and stones since before we could write. They don't know that we've perfected warfare across 10,000 years of continuous practice. The military strategists had exchanged glances. Then slowly they had smiled. Humanity didn't fight fair. Humanity didn't fight with honor. Humanity fought to win. Within 48 hours, the Krell learned what guerrilla warfare meant. They learned what insurgency meant. They learned what total war meant. Nick approached again, a data pad in his trembling hands. Ma'am, the scans are complete. The returning ships, they're barely functional. Life support is failing on 4 of them. The crews are traumatized, Elsa finished. She had seen the preliminary reports. The Krell survivors weren't physically wounded. Their medical technology was too advanced for that. But their minds had shattered. How? Nick whispered, not for the first time. How did we do it? Elsa turned from the viewport. We showed them what happens when you attack a species that weaponized mathematics, turned splitting atoms into city killers, and engineered plagues just to see if we could. We showed them what humans do when we're cornered. The Krell had possessed superior technology, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. They had never fought opponents who used their own technology against them, who hacked their systems with a ferocity born of desperation. They had never encountered soldiers who would sacrifice themselves to take down a single enemy ship, who would fight with knives when their guns ran dry, who would use the environment itself as a weapon. In the Amazon, human forces had turned the jungle into a death trap. In the Arctic, they had used the cold as an ally. In the cities, they had transformed every building into a fortress, every street into a killing field. The Krell had expected armies. They got billions of individual fighters who refused to surrender. We used everything, Elsa continued, her voice distant. Chemical weapons we swore we'd never use again. Biological agents from maximum security labs. We collapsed buildings on them, drowned them, burned them. When their shields adapted, we used primitive explosives. When they learned our tactics, we changed them hourly. Nick looked sick. Was it necessary? They came to exterminate us, Elsa said flatly. They called us vermin in their first broadcast. They said Earth would be cleansed and repurposed. So yes, Lieutenant, it was necessary. The young officer nodded slowly, then returned to his station. Elsa watched the 7 broken ships holding position beyond the lunar perimeter. The Krell had retreated on day 19, after losing over 99% of their invasion force. The ships fleeing Earth had been hunted through near space by human pilots who flew with suicidal aggression, ramming Krell vessels when their ammunition ran out. A priority transmission crackled through the command center. Elsa recognized the encryption. It was from Earth's unified military command. "Commander Chen?" The voice of General Kowalski came through, tired but alive. "The Krell are broadcasting across all channels. They're declaring Earth a forbidden world. They're warning the entire galaxy to stay away from humanity." "Why?" Elsa asked, though she already knew. "They're calling us demons. They say we're a plague species. They say," the general paused, "they say that any species capable of such calculated brutality, of turning their own world into a weapon, of fighting with such absolute refusal to yield. They say we're the most dangerous species they've ever encountered." Elsa looked down at Earth, at the blue marble that had birthed humanity and forged them in countless wars. She thought of every civilization that had risen and fallen on that world. Every conflict that had taught humanity new ways to survive, to adapt, to overcome. "Good," she said quietly. "Let them tell the others. Let every alien empire hear what happens when you threaten Earth. We didn't start this war, but we finished it." The 7 Krell ships began their jump to faster-than-light travel, fleeing the Sol system in broken silence. Behind them, humanity began to rebuild, and to prepare, because now they knew the truth. They weren't alone in the universe. And the universe had just learned it should be afraid.